just drop that stuff off at my window, Louis, when you're done. Okay.
Unless you want to talk for about 2 more minutes, because I'm just about done.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm great. What can I do for you?
I wanted to ask you a question about that one comment you made a couple of meetings ago with the Marion FOIA request. You mentioned something about Marion is outside of your guys' jurisdiction.
Yes.
So this is probably a weird question that nobody else has previously ever asked.
Okay.
The situation is that the person that made the FOIA request, they are trespassed from the police department. Whenever they call, they get hung up on, and whenever the police department says we're going to email you, they never actually email. So in a situation like that, when you're trying to exercise your First Amendment right to address your government, the next logical area to go to would be here, because he's also trespassed from Marion City Hall.
Well, City Hall would be the next place to go, but we have no jurisdiction over any incorporated area.
And I get that, but
So I can call them on your behalf, but it doesn't hold any weight, is what I'm getting.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that after you try to redress your government, you get trespassed. Try to redress your government, you get trespassed. At some point, you have to find a new area in order to redress it at. And this, to me, is the most logical, because it is in Linn County, and I understand legally you don't have jurisdiction, but given the situation, you got to go somewhere.
Well, I can respect that.
Yeah. So how do you think that we could help you?
Well, I know that you guys, like if one of you, for instance, called up the governor's office, you would be taken a lot more seriously than somebody like me or Casey.
That's how you think we can help?
Well, just with any official. I mean, if one of you guys, called up the city manager, Ryan Waller, you would be taken much more seriously than one of us. I mean, I've tried to meet with Ryan, I want to say 12 times.
Okay.
And it took so many months just to get a conversation with him. And then right after that, I had to leave to pick my cat up from the vet, and then I got trespassed.
So, is there other ways that you think that we could help you? Because I really don't think that.
I think this has nothing to do with it, but it's a kind of similar thing. I get calls since I represent. Well, for the last 2 years, I represented all the rural area. Now that's switched with the last Representative Running-Marquardt represents some of it now. But I've had
Supervisor Running-Marquardt now.
Sorry, yes. What did I say, representative? Yeah, sorry. I had 2 different fire departments that wanted me to intervene in some fire district problems. So I went to our county attorney, and other than going to the meetings and, yeah, I understand what everybody's saying, there's nothing I can legally do to help them. I guess that's what I was trying to explain to you.
And I get where you're coming from.
Legally, there's nothing I can't go to Marion and say, you're going to see this man. No, I can call him and say, hey, you know what, this guy's got some grievances. Could you just meet with him and I might be, just do it as a favor? Sure, I can do that, but I can't guarantee you that they're going to do it.
Because I've taken all the Marion City Council members and Ryan Waller and the mayor and this guy at the Department of Investigations and emailed them 15 times, just trying to set up a meeting with Ryan Waller to go over these pictures and videos.
And they don't want to do it.
And
Have you worked with the state information office?
The Iowa Public Information Board?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a complaint. I just got off the phone with them before this meeting about.
Have you worked with the state ombudsman's office at all?
Yeah, I've called them. Yeah, we've literally called everyone. We even called the FBI, and it's just nobody wants to go against Marion. There's just something.
Well, why don't you call? Is it Jerdy?
But
if you want something to happen in the state, you should call.
I don't think Jerdy has a Marion.
I'm sure he does.
Is it Liz?
That's who took Ashley's place.
I know, but I got redistricted.
Because my whole thing is that if we can.
It's Liz, it's Molly, and.
Well, that'd be your senators.
Yeah,
but who's in
no,
House?
There's
Oh yeah.
I can't remember her last name right now. I apologize.
Yeah, you really need to find your current Iowa House member, or Senate, member, and if they would go to the Osmondson's office, and I didn't say that correctly, I never have.
Ombudsman's.
Yeah, but if they go there,
Yeah.
they'll get a lot more action than you will.
Well, yeah,
'Cause I've done
I
that
call
before.
I called that office, and then they refer me to the Iowa Public Information Board
Yeah,
for the FOIA
but
request.
But if a representative or if a current representative or senator goes to that office, they might do more than just.
Yeah, because my question to you guys is, if I don't come here, then where do I go?
Well, I think you have to go.
I mean, come here because it's nice to have people who come to our meetings. Of
yeah,
course,
but
but
he wants,
I don't think there's.
he wants some kind of action. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
I know.
it's gonna be at
I
the
was
state
trying to
level.
figure out
'Cause
how
we've
I
re-
could help you, but I
Because
don't-
we've
I don't
already
think
taken
there's-
the show up to City Hall anyway route, and it leads to jail. We done it on more than one
I would
occasion.
call your state representative. I would start there.
Yeah.
Or senator.
Well, I'll try. I'm pretty sure we've already done that, but you just try again.
Right, but they would have jurisdiction over.
Are you trying to get the $200 back? Is that the sort of outcome that you want?
Well, and I want the body cams. That's what I really want, because the body cams have a lot of incriminating evidence over, like, the Marion Police Department. Like, one thing that's on the body cams is they wrote Casey a ticket for driving without insurance, and the body cam shows the card is in the cop's hand. Like, you can read the expiration date, you can read the company, and that, is what they don't want coming
so this
out.
is over, and I'm sorry I read something that I think you handed us as well, but my memory, I'm getting a little bit old. I'm as old as Tom Brady, and he's retired today officially, but
Again?
yeah, again. But is that the one incident that there was an incident with this gentleman named Casey that you're trying to get the body cam from, and that's the primary concern that you have?
Well, it's not so the primary is like, so this all started out where we lived in this apartment complex, and we tried to get repairs done. And since we started doing that, the Marion City Hall and Police Department have just made us public enemy number one. And like, literally, the way that they did that in writing a man a ticket, when the card is in your hand, that says something about how their department is ran. It says something that they're not here doing their job. They're here to target that individual. And the reason why they're being targeted is because we went to Marion City Hall and we tried to report the issues on the building, and they're just literally coming down on us. And that's, what I'm trying to expose.
I really think that's the logical place to go.
Is there and forgive me for my questions here, is there are you guys at that building still?
No, we both got evicted through retaliatory eviction, but it's just
And so kind of, I understand that you want the body cam footage and that you have a point that you want to show and prove, and thank goodness we have a democracy, and hopefully there'll be paths that can work through this.
well, this really doesn't feel democratic, Is
there so sort of after all of this, what kind of outcome are you looking for?
Well, one of the big things, not the only thing, one of the big things is I have moved probably 12 different apartments in the Linn County area, and it's just despicable the types of things that like tenants are supposed to live in, and when you try to exercise those avenues, the way that you are not getting your justice, like you guys said in the Pledge of Allegiance, with liberty and justice for all, like there's no justice. You pay your rent and you got no hot water. There's no justice there. And the problem that we're running into in Marion, there's not only no justice, but there's retaliation. And it just shouldn't be like that. And I don't think a lot of people are aware of the retaliation and the violence and the jail and the false charges that, are being brought upon Casey due to us just trying to utilize that avenue in a democracy.
Is Casey, this gentleman, still in Marion right now?
No, he's in Cedar Rapids.
Are you still in Marion right now?
I'm not. I luckily have a good landlord, but it's something that I see all kinds of other people dealing with,
Is Casey in a safe space as well with a okay landlord?
I mean, I kind of don't.
Or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, due to him having 6 pending charges, his life is, it's hard. And that's just pending right now. That doesn't include the total charge count, which is probably close to 20. You know, like they're just coming down on him, the Linn County Attorney's Office. You know, and it's like he's got this problem now where this is another thing I'm trying to help him out with. He got a charge from the Marion incident. He went there for that FOIA request, you know, and they ignored him, didn't want to open the window, didn't want to talk to him, and the police trespassed him on that day. And then like a month later when he's going to court, he gets hit with charges for that incident, which makes you wonder, if you're surrounded by police and you committed a crime, why were you not arrested him? But just let me finish this. So after that, he now needs to get the discovery from the county attorney's office because he's representing himself pro se, but he can't get the discovery because he has no contact order from the Linn County attorney's office.
It does sound like he needs to get an attorney.
Well, here's the thing is, like, even when you do get like an expensive attorney, like I know a guy that hired Gary Dickey. He's like a $5,000 attorney in Des Moines. He's very expensive. Went to the jury trial, lost his case.
Okay.
And you know, it just because you have an attorney doesn't necessarily mean.
I just think it sounds like it would help, though, especially if there's no contact orders that are in place, that that would help.
Well, there's
gentleman.
that, and then you also got to look at the economics. If you got 6 pending charges and you're paying $5,000 per charge.
Has he contacted legal aid to see if they're able to assist him?
Yeah, legal aid doesn't do anything with criminal; they only do with civil.
Okay.
So, and the public
I
defender.
would still start if you think you are being wronged by the Marion Police Department. I would still. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying if you think you are, I would still contact my state rep.
Yeah.
They're going to have more to do with them than we do.
I mean, there's a video that I sent Ben where the Marion Police Department come to Casey's door and they talk in the car like, we don't have a warrant. He has the option to shut the door, you know, and they're actually training a new officer at this point. They come to his door knowing they don't have a warrant. There's no probable cause. There's no crime. There's no open vision of anything. They force their way in, tackle him to the ground, and then arrest him and take him to jail. And his crime is calling City Hall. That's his crime that they said.
Well, it does sound like this Casey gentleman is very fortunate to have you as a friend who's trying to advocate for him. I really, honestly, at the county level, it seems like this is an odd place for trying to ask for assistance from us.
Yeah.
I've been trying to make it make sense, but honestly, I think it's, you know, you can go back to the ombudsman's office. I think that's, and then work out to see the states, the FOIA, their Public Information Board, and if that doesn't work, then go back to the ombudsman's office and ask if they would, on your behalf, go back to that Public Information Board for the state level.
I'd still get a state rep to go to the ombudsman office.
Yeah, state rep, yeah.
Because they're going to have.
But what I'm saying, guys, is like, where else do I go than here? Like,
No, but,
you know.
but that's a good office to go to. But just you going, if somebody goes there, if an elected official goes there that has some pull, they're going to get you further along.
And if the offenses are against this Casey gentleman, then maybe it's better if he's the one who's maybe working with the ombudsman's office. Sometimes there's things.
That's true.
When you're saying you're advocating for someone else, sometimes that's a little bit. It's harder because people want to talk to you about your specific case, or maybe something's happened to you as well.
Oh yeah.
That you could talk about, but I appreciate that you come here, and I really appreciate when people are engaged, because there are so many people who don't care and are.
And I don't want you to feel like we're brushing you off. It's not. It's just we don't have the jurisdiction to do what you'd like done.
Yeah, I've heard that word jurisdiction from a lot of different people, and you know, it's just when you close off all the avenues in Marion, you know, there's got to be a new road somewhere.
That's why I think that's why I think it's the state.
Yeah, I also think it's find an attorney.
Yeah, he's got multiple denial letters from many different attorneys, including the Institute for Justice. There's just something about Marion that they don't want to go against.
Maybe it's something about the case that
if you have your rep contact the office. I've never been able to say that word correctly.
Yeah.
I know I had to contact them once on behalf of a constituent when I was in the House, and we had a good response.
Yeah.
And you know, there might be a, the outcome might not be what you want either. There's that sort of
That's always true too.
possibility, but what I saw on your information, that if you don't sort of get the outcomes, that at least you can have the $200 back. But I honestly think that this Casey gentleman, if he's the one who feels as though there's the most errors against, or that he should have an attorney for sure.
Well, as I said, people just don't have that much money, you know.
I
mean,
I understand that, but there's, if it is so important, it looks like you're putting a lot of energy towards this.
And even the money thing
that-
aside, like this other guy, Flex, you know, he recently got a significant amount of money. I'm not going to say how much, but enough to afford an attorney. He had to go to, I want to say it was like 15 different ones. Like, he lives in Waterloo,
Yeah.
and the only attorney he could find to take his case is all the way in Des Moines. So, like, just because you have the money, which most people don't, it still is incredibly difficult to get an attorney to represent you in these situations.
Yeah. I honestly believe it's still worth a try, especially since you sound like you're having a no contact order against the county attorney. You need to be able to have a way to communicate, and having an attorney would be what I would suggest, the way that you can communicate, or your friend can communicate effectively. I'd go back to the ombudsman's office, and then I'd also go back to I'd follow through with the information folks. I think your legislators, contact them. I don't know how much they're gonna, sometimes it works,
can give you
sometimes it
better access
doesn't.
to the
Sometimes it works,
office.
sometimes it doesn't, but I've had different experiences with the ombudsman's office. They try, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I've called them and talked to them, and
Great.
they didn't want to hear the whole story. They just wanted to kind of push me off to the Iowa Public Information Board for the
That's where
FOIA,
your rep might help you.
which I appreciate, but the FOIA is just like one pen in this whole holder, you know. There's so much more to it, and it's like intertwined with everything, you know, and it begs the question of, well, why are they writing him this ticket when the card's in the hand? You know, it really begs.
It sounds really complicated. I'm no attorney.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Well, you don't got to be an attorney to watch that body cam and just see that something is severely wrong.
So you do have a body cam?
We did have the body cam, and then the flash drive we had it on got corrupted, so we need to get it again.
Oh, okay. Well, that's tough.
Yeah, so I've seen this video. We had it, but yeah. So I'll try.
What do you spend the $200 on?
No, that's separate. We have, I think, like 4 pending FOIA requests right now. They just don't want to do anything.
Yeah, well, good luck. And if you can think of a different way that maybe we can help you, I don't really see, I don't see a path, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Well, I don't either. That's why I'm here, because I don't know what other path to go down. I mean,
The ones I just suggested, I think, is all the kind of I have.
yeah. Well, thanks for talking to me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I would contact my representative.
I mean,
I know
there.
that'll help you at the hospice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just this, yeah, I think that's kind of, yeah, because like I know in certain situations a citizen says something and it's treated one way, but when somebody with authority says it, it's a different
When I was
way.
in the house, I had several people would call with insurance questions, and I usually call.
Yeah.
If I was any smarter than anybody else, I just knew the right person to call.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out, but because I talked to Ben about Marion, and he even told me, you know, when he grew up in the area, there was always this, how do I call it, this story that, you know, Marion has like a different set of rules. You better not speed, you better not do anything that isn't perfect, you know, because they will get you. But they've stepped from like, they've stepped over the line of like, oh, we're going to pull you over for 26 and a 25 to we're going to pull you over because we feel like it and we have no reason to do so.
Yeah, that don't seem right.
And then they'll impound your car, take you to jail, and get buried in court cases until your name is Casey.
I didn't get it.
All right, man. Appreciate you listening to me.
You bet.
Yep. Hey, just out of curiosity, why wasn't Joel Miller here today?
At the board meeting?
Yeah.
Well, they often don't come to the board
Really?
meetings.
Because everything on the, correct me if I'm wrong, on the agenda was all his office and his finances, weren't they?
As far as what?
Everything on the agenda today. I read over the paperwork about everything that was talked about today, and his name was on the bottom of all of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they took them all. Well, consent has already been talked about in the past,
Okay.
so most of the time that's already been discussed, already been read.
Huh.
And the two things on the regular agenda, one was the secondary roads, and the other was the planning and zoning, so.
Well, I must have misread it, but I swear on the website there was a large amount of papers with his name and signature at the bottom.
That was probably for the food pantries, and that was actually a grant, but that was all on consent.
Oh, okay.
And I just signed it all, that's what I was signing when you were, yeah.
All right, man. Have a good one.